inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block, Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you. Okie-dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to Starting Block for a week. Big show as always. We got story times. You know we got story times. We got vaccinations. We got where's Troy been at? All that and much, much more here on the block.
Standing tall on the wings of my dream. Rise and fall on the wings of my dream. Rain and thunder, the wind and haze, I'm bound for better days. My life, my dream, nothing's gonna stop me now.
It's Greeno here from the Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's gain. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who's also questionable participate in this week's Olympics. My co-captain Damo, how are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Blockheads, millions. Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy going on with the Australian Olympic team right now, isn't it? Like,
bit of a circus, Damo. Who would have thought? Who would have thought in the middle of a global pandemic where you've got the host city in a state of emergency, that things might go a little bit awry.
Yeah. If you're I think I'm an Olympics fan, but I don't care about it. Yeah, but I don't care about it as much as I used to when I was younger. You know what I mean? Now I care more about like club football and stuff like that. The Olympics, but because it's only once every 4 years, you still kind of tune in. For people who have been watching the Olympics, like the ride that they've been on in Tokyo, like because we're already a year late, first of all. So, but the ride they've been on in the lead up has been like, sir, you know, they'll ask the politician who's in charge of the Olympics, sir, what do you make of this most recent story where there's like 10,000 people now who like, people are like refusing to come here. We can't get volunteers. Athletes want to pull out and shit. It's been just a constant fucking, you know, hell ride for the Olympics. And now,
the crowdless Olympics.
Exactly. Yeah. And now Liz Cambridge isn't going to be there either. So it's just like.
We're going to talk to Liz a little bit later. Yeah, well, fuck Liz, but we'll get to her story in a little while. Damo, I just want to put it out there, a bit of pre-show, bit of kimono open.
Please.
During the week, the wife got the vaccine. So our 5G now. All good. Shouldn't have any dropouts during this week's show.
Nice, Gary!
You think the 5G waves are being transmitted through the vaccine that your wife received, and now it's being like amplified in your house?
In the house, to the point where I guarantee no dropouts. If there's dropouts, hey, look, you know, conspiracy theory disproven. But
blame the vaccine.
Otherwise, if we get through the whole show without a dropout, hey, there might be something to it. Damo, let's start with a bit of Greeno story time, please, sir.
I like stories about pinatas.
I'll start the show with kind of a week. Okay, and you know the week is bad with how the week starts. And I consider the week Monday morning. Okay. Would you agree with that? Monday morning, start of the week?
No, because for me personally, I start like my
Sunday.
week on Sunday night. Yeah, so
Sunday.
I would say like Sunday.
We'll pretend you work
6
a normal job, and we'll do Monday morning for the purpose of my story.
Great. Okay.
Disregard your comment.
Yeah, Monday morning. How bad is it?
Monday morning.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
The Monday. Spot on. Well done, sir. So Monday morning, for those in our US listeners, Sydney and New South Wales state of lockdown right now. So it's fucked it for everyone, specifically school children, because you can't go to school now. Schools got to stay home, homeschooling, which fucking seems like a great idea when you're a kid in school. As a parent, fucking nightmare.
Yeah,
so
and I think, Greeno, it's probably just worth pointing out for the sake of, you know, professionalism and what we like to promote here on the show, and like what we, you know, because we're all in this together, Greeno, really.
All together.
Essentially. So, and now that you are, you know, radiating 5G microwaves from your wife's body, courtesy of the miracle vax, I like to call it.
Yeah.
You know, because of that, I think it's fair to say that, hey, it's just 2 more weeks, guys.
Nice, Gary!
Just 2 more weeks. Actually, I don't know if you know this or not, like just an hour or 2 ago, Greeno, the AMA came out and said, we might be looking at like indefinite lockdowns from now on.
Indefinite lockdown, yeah. I did
but
that.
When I heard that, when I saw that, I just thought to myself, well, that's them trying to save ink on the newspapers. So they, instead of saying just 2 more weeks, we're just using the word indefinite. But it really only means a fortnight, you know.
Yeah. We'll read between the lines.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Monday morning, wake up. Now, thankfully, Monday was still school holidays technically. Okay. So no kind of homeschooling at that point.
Right.
However, wake up Monday morning, daughter's got like a 41-degree temperature. So for our US listeners, that works out as 109 degree Fahrenheit, I believe. Quite fucking high, quite dangerous.
That's a hot little kid. So
that's a hot little kid. So I'm like, excellent. That's what I need.
You can fry eggs on her head if you wanted to.
Yeah, spot on. 100, and I did.
Of course.
Whipped up a nice little blueberry pancake.
Were you frying eggs on her, or were you just like throwing food at her around the house? Food fight.
Food fight, and then pass it off to child services. Cooking an egg.
Yeah, but look, I'm sorry, child services, you had to come out here and pick my kid up. But on the upside, I have breakfast prepared for you.
I've got breakfast. We're good to go.
Yeah.
How do you feel about scrambled?
Do you like them over easy, sunny side up?
Over easy.
Yeah,
how we do it.
Yeah.
So So this is how the week starts. So 40-degree temperature. I'm like, okay, well, I can take care of her, dose her with a bunch of fucking drugs, get that temp down.
Right.
But I've got to drop the son off to daycare. We're all still all good for daycare. His temp's fine. Checked him. No symptoms. Good to go. We walk in.
Off your
I
truck.
walk out, pack him in the car. And this is what sums up the start of my week. I walk out. I'm like, Monday morning's bin day for us, right?
Okay.
Walk out.
That's
I'm
a strange. Sorry, I want to interrupt the
I
story.
like
there.
stories about pinatas.
That's a strange day for a bin pickup, isn't it?
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Monday morning.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I've just always assumed garbage day to be like a Tuesday, a Wednesday,
We're
a
used
Thursday.
to Tuesday, Thursdays. Yeah.
Something
That's
like
out
that.
west, mate.
Yeah, out west, brother. So now Monday, I would forget Sunday night, especially because, getting up on Monday morning like a normal person.
I'm a Sunday. I put the bin out Sunday morning early, so I don't forget it. Because the problem is Sunday Arvo beers, then I might get a bit forgetful. So
yes.
like early chore, I wake up, smash down some coffee, make some brekkie, and then the first thing I do on Sunday morning, bins out. So I'm the first guy out there on the lawn. Everyone then takes their cue off what bins to put out off me for that day now.
Right. So you're leading the charge now.
Yeah, because I don't know, once again, US listeners, I don't know if you have like fucking multiple bins like the ridiculous that we have here in Australia.
Yeah.
You have different colored bins depending on what. Yeah, it's all just going in the dump truck. It's fine.
Imagine if they gave all of us imagine if they gave all of us like a 3-meter skip bin and just put it on everyone's yard. just like chuck whatever in,
Mate, you'd be out of the job though, dude, because then you only have to do garbage pickup like once every 6 weeks.
That's very true.
We need the multiple bins. This keeps our good friends employed.
That's right.
So walk out them in the morning, and I'm like, I swear I put the yellow bin out yesterday. What the fuck's going on here? But I'm like, oh, good. No. The wife, she leaves before me, maybe because I checked the rest of the street. Everyone's else's bins had already been picked up.
Okay.
Because they were empty.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we're all good. Must have put it in front of the driveway so the wife couldn't get out to leave for work because she leaves before me.
Oh, no.
Wife must have picked up the bin, put it out the back. We're all good.
Oh, okay.
Race out the back. Have a look. No bin. I'm like, okay, that's a bit weird. So then I'm looking up the street going, do I see multiple bins anywhere?
There's
you gotta
tomfoolery
break it down.
afoot, perhaps, Greeno.
Yeah, not tomfoolery, but sometimes what happens is they pick it up, they drive, they forget to put it down, and they're like, shit, put it down here, and then you go and collect your bin from up the street.
Well, I remember,
like
Greeno,
stories about
just interrupt the story
pinatas.
momentarily, and I don't want to alarm you here, okay?
Yeah.
So that's definitely not my intention here. But I do remember, like, as a younger lad, being this activity. Did you ever hear of binning, Greeno?
I do remember binning, sir.
Binning.
I do.
So for those who aren't aware, binning is when you'd have you and, 3 of your buffhead mates in a car doing buffhead shit when, you're 17 or 16 or whatever you're doing. And on bid night, you would drive around and somebody would reach out of the window of the car and grab hold of the wheelie bin. And
That's
then,
correct.
the person driving would flatten it and you'd see how long you could hold onto the bin for. And then you'd probably take it, 3 miles down the road or something, this poor cunt's bin. So that would be my first fear, Greeno, would be if I looked out, because your street, I'm going to say it, it's very good binning street. There's hills. There's like a long straight road. I'd be very concerned. There's a roundabout, Greeno. You can send that fucking thing into the roundabout, So
Definitely
very
can. Now,
dangerous.
I like stories about
that
pinatas.
did cross my mind. I'm like, there's something could have gone awry here. Binning was one of the options.
Yes.
Now, I sat there, and once again, as a forensic accountant, I had to apply some rational thought to it.
Of course.
And you got to remember, we're in lockdown season, Damo.
Mm.
So do you want to know how heavy that fucking
like the theater?
You want to know how heavy that bin was with empty fucking beer bottles? And I had 2 hands and an angle to get it up my driveway. That's how much effort involved. I'm like, if someone's been able to bin that, credit to them. I'll give them a tip of the hat. So I ruled binning out because that bin was way too heavy with empty beer bottles.
Okay, fair enough.
So anyway, get home from the...
You Sherlock Holmes the shit out of that, Greeno. You really did.
I did.
Fantastic work.
Got home,
Nice
rang
guy.
the council, and I'm like, look, got on the line. I'm like, look, here's the situation. I've walked up in the morning, bin's gone.
Right.
2 options. Someone may have stolen the bin, or the bin may have been taken by the dump truck. And Leigh's like, where do you live, sir? Because this happened to my old man. They took the bin with them by accident.
Yeah, because when the truck, like the arm comes out, picks it up. I've seen it happen. Sometimes the bin can slip out. Yeah, just like luck of the draw, and it just goes whoosh into the back of the truck. And they're not going to jump in there and pull your bin out for you. They're just like, just fucking send the guy a new one, you know?
Yeah. So they're like, oh, where do you live? So I gave him my address. And the lady's like, I hear the typing in the background. She's like, oh, yes, I see your bin upside down in the back of the truck right now. We'll send you a new one tomorrow. So the answer was basically the bin had fallen into the back of the dump truck.
Okay.
But then that opened up a new set of questions for me with the lady on the phone. I'm like, well, thanks for that. But let me ask this question. How do you know the bin's in the back of the truck? She's like, well, we've got surveillance cameras in there. Like we can see when things happen in the back. I'm like, whoa, this is a fucking high-tech shit. You mean to tell me that there are surveillance cameras that can catch at the moment that my bin is going into the back of said truck? She's like, that's level technology.
Once upon a time, we'd have to hire like private investigators to go through your rubbish. Now the council just fucking films your rubbish as it's collected in a truck. It's to catch people who are it's to catch people who are putting the wrong shit in their bin. So
I know I've worked that out, but it got me worried because I thought about all the fucking dead bodies I've put in my garbage bin over the last 6 months. Fuck me.
All of those dildos that I've gotten rid of, Greeno, they know every single one that's come out of here.
Concerns, Damo. So that's how my week started. So anyway, get back to the original fucking point.
I like stories about pinatas.
So then day 2, finally got the daughter's temperature down to a fucking moderate enough level where she's like got enough attention span, her brain isn't that defunct of oxygen that we can actually do homeschooling.
So as opposed to frying an egg on her head, you're now blanching an egg in like, you know, kind of simmering bath, Greeno.
Spot on. Okay. And I'm like, look, if I'm gonna be teacher Greeno, Mr. Greeno, if you will, hence the title of this week's show, we got to fucking do it properly. So I got myself some ill-fitting khaki shorts.
Did you really?
Got myself a polo shirt, got some long socks and comfortable shoes.
Did you put an apple on the desk?
There was no apple on the desk because I find that that's more movies. Like I was trying to reflect back from our primary school teachers and how weirdly they dressed and kind of ran with that theme, if you will.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for me if I try to think of my primary school teachers because I think I spent most of primary school out in the hallway. So,
in detention, that's correct. Yeah.
No. Remember that class we were in? They put the desk out in the hallway. Because every time I was in the classroom, I'd fucking destroy the educations of everybody sitting around me. So they kept kicking me out of the hallway with the desk in the hallway.
That was year 4, I believe, sir. And that was also the same year I got pulled into a meeting because I asked when you were allowed back in there. They're like, does anyone want to sit next to this clown? And I put my hand up. Because we had to have desk buddies, remember?
That's right.
And the teacher put me aside. He's like, are you sure? Like, you want to sit next? I'm like, yeah, man, this is my boy. I didn't say my boy back then. But I'm like, this is my man. Like,
my nigga right here.
Yeah, I'm like, this might disrupt your education. I'm like, trust me, I'm pretty fucking switched on, man. I'll deal. Like,
we'll figure it out.
Me and him, we can have laughs in the corner.
That's right.
But that way you knew I had your back. Even though you were we were up front, we had the shittiest desk. We were only allowed to leave last, remember?
Yes.
For lunch times? Because it was like a punishment desk. So like you realize you're choosing to go to the punishment desk. I'm like, yeah, but my boy's there. Like,
but it's also the furthest, it's also the point that's furthest away from you, the teacher, as well. So, you know, what a punishment. Right. I mean, how awful. We can do shit without getting caught. I mean, how bad. What a punishment.
And also it set low expectations for our table.
Correct.
Because it was already like, well, that's the dunce table over there.
Yes.
These guys, no expectations. So anything we did right, fucking we excelled.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Round of applause. Standing O's for the boys back there in the punishment desk.
Strategic thinking.
They showed up on time after lunch today. Good job, boys. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
They answered the question. Well done.
Fantastic.
Stories about
story within a story.
Exactly. So got that covered. Got the nice little dress gun. Started doing my lessons. Here's the thing, though, and no disrespect to the teachers because they had like a day to fucking put it together. We had to come up with our own education plan. They gave us like, here's a grid of like 12 activities, pick 2 out of each group per day.
Okay.
And do 6 lessons,
which is
fine. But I'm like, yeah, it's a bit of effort. So day 1, I'm like, look,
it's a bit of
this effort. Is a rough day. This is a rough day. What involves the least effort here? So we picked those activities day 1.
Okay, today we're going to be learning about cartoons.
How do you feel about the couch? We're going to learn about the couch. Tell me what shapes you see on the couch. What shapes do you see on the TV remote?
How much time do they usually allocate to you at school, little one, for sleep? Is that, a 4-hour chunk during the day, is it? Or?
We're going to do some math. What's the distance between the couch and the kitchen? Let's do that math.
You've got to make it practical, Greeno. That's how you get the kids interested in learning.
So then by the time I got to day 2, I was like, look, I've actually got to put some effort in. I've had more than half a day with this program. I've got to make sure I actually put some effort in and give the kid an education whilst I'm still trying to do my job here.
Well, try at least.
Try. Yeah. A little bit of effort. Yeah. So I'm going through and I'm like, okay, this seems like fun. There's a bit of cut and pasting in this activity, blah, 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 blah. I had to find some magazines, mapped it all out, prepped it the day before, good to go.
Okay.
And as she's doing the activity, I'm like, there's something that seems, I'm a bit uncomfortable with this activity. And I was trying to work out why.
What was the activity?
And basically, the activity was to cut out letters from a magazine to spell your sight words. So they get a list of sight words, right? So depending on your level, this is kindergarten.
Okay.
Here's a list of 9 words we want you to learn how to say, spell, and write.
Okay.
And then as you get better, you do the next one because teaches you to read, teaches you to write, teaches you to identify letters.
Right.
So she does that. And as I'm looking at this thing and sending a picture to the teacher to prove we've done the fucking work, I'm like,
do you have to send photographic evidence to the teacher who now I can only assume the teacher now who's like sipping fucking Chardonnay all day in their house and just like, you send me parent, you send me the teacher stuff and I'll decide whether or not it's good enough.
Yay or nay, spot on.
5 minutes work. Just check the emails, tick, tick, tick. All right, fucking see you tomorrow. Here's tomorrow's lessons plan. Here's tomorrow's lessons plan, which they actually probably get from somebody else anyway. Some kind of department.
I'll give them credit.
Some kind of government department or something, though, says, here are the required things that you need to put in there. And then the rest is just fluff, Greeno. It's just padding. It's filler.
To be honest, I'm not going to shit on the teachers. Not their fucking fault that we've been put in this situation. So not going to shit on the teachers.
You should anyway. Fuck them.
Fuck them. Like, they're good. I like the teachers.
Fuck them.
They're not their problem. Yeah. If I was in their situation, I'd be putting my feet up, sipping Chardonnay at 10 a.m. too.
I would too.
As I'm looking, I'm like, I realize basically what we've created for this activity is a ransom note. We've cut out random letters from random magazines to spell random words. And I'm like, all that's missing here is $10,000 or die.
500 or the 500,000 or the bitch gets it.
Yeah, the bitch gets it. So I
said that to your teacher. Yeah, what do you think of this, miss? Hey, she done good, didn't she?
That was my story time for
Fantastic.
that one.
I like stories about pinatas.
Which then links me to a step back in time.
Which I'm sure is here somewhere.
There's a button, I guarantee. Do you remember just after we reconnected as friends? It was just after I finished high school, and we were hitting the clubs on the Tuesday night because that's fucking what we did.
Yeah.
The Tuesday night boys. Yeah. Do you remember what I was studying back then after I left school in uni?
Yeah, teaching.
I was studying to be a teacher. Now that thing lasted about 3 months, right? And that bastard cost me $4,000 for 3 months in hex fees. Unbelievable. But I felt like this week I was reconnecting and I'm like, in this situation, I feel like I'm going to get some of my money back. Because I'm going to utilize that kind of like 3 months of education I got to study to be a primary school teacher. Yeah. I'm now using it to be a primary school teacher for my kid. Yeah. But you know me, Dame, I'm all about the cashola, right?
90 days, though. You got 90 days of the good stuff. And now it's time. Now what? 20 years later, it's time to apply that knowledge in a real world.
Time to apply that knowledge. Atmosphere. Exactly.
Fantastic.
But I'm all about the cash, right? And my theory is if I've been hit up with those hex fees 25 years ago, now it's time for me to cash in because I don't know what a teacher's salary is. Yep. But if I'm doing the teacher's job from home, what kind of government assistance may I be able to apply for? Nice, Gary! By doing my own role as well as the job of a teacher for the better part of who knows how many months now, 2 more weeks.
Well, you'd have to fill out a new tax return and say, like, I'm also a teacher now. Like that's my second job now.
But I got to get the cashola in order to be able to declare it. So I'm trying to work out which government department I need to reach out to go, look, technically I'm now a teacher. You took my $4,000 hex fee. You said I wasn't competent enough to be a teacher 25 years ago, but now you're burdening me. You're burdening me with the responsibility of the program. Yeah. And being given no guidance and no support. I can't even call in a substitute teacher at any point. Where do I get my paycheck?
Fantastic. You're trying to figure out basically how to grift the taxpayer, Green. Nice. How to get yourself. Everybody else is getting paid, aren't they? Why don't you get paid, Greeno? You deserve
Where's my pay? I don't. Yeah, exactly. I'm doing fucking someone else's job, for Christ's sake.
That's a fantastic.
So that's my story time, sir.
I like stories about pinatas.
Wonderful. Well,
you have a story time, I believe.
I do, but maybe we'll save that for the second segment because you did touch on the lockdown, Greeno, and I think there's some things that we need to go over here. Obviously, we're still in lockdown here in Sydney. The AMA came out and said today, hey, look, guys, might be indefinite, which, of course, is just their fancy educated way of saying, Greeno, just 2 more weeks. You know what I mean? That's them dumbing it down for us. So a lot of people have been wanting to reach out to the Prime Minister.
Strap in.
Strap in or strap on, Greeno, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
So
how do you reckon the I don't know, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your story. Okay. But how do you think the online sex shops have been going in the pandemic? I think through the roof.
Nice, Gary.
Think about it, right? You've got a lot of single women who can no longer go on dates.
Yes, that's true.
Because we can't go out. So suddenly it's, what kind of double-ended dildo can we get? I'm just waiting for the moment someone will be on the other end, perhaps.
Yeah, I wonder how many delivery drivers now. I wonder if they know the packages that come from the sex shops now, because they're just delivering so many dildos.
Yeah,
out in public.
Nice, Gary.
The interesting thing is now delivery drivers, they hear a random vibration in the back. They don't assume it's a bomb. They just assume sex toy.
It's a vibrator. Exactly.
Gotta be.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm regretting interrupting your story now.
Nice Fight Club reference. So a lot of people are wanting to get in touch with the Prime Minister, obviously, and have a conversation, Greeno. And he was on Kyle and Jackie O a few days ago. And I don't know about
there's been a lot of issues with the PM. People are angry at the PM, like, where's our vaccines? Where's our quarantine? What's going on? We need the big issues covered.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, they're simultaneously screaming that they want to, they want more measures to protect them from coronavirus, yet at the same time, they want the borders opened up. So it's kind of like, well, how do you please these fucking idiots? What are you supposed to do?
You can't please them.
No, whatever you do, you can't please, a certain group anyway. But that
Can I offer a suggestion? You know nothing about border control. I know nothing about something.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of a second thing. I don't know nothing about coronavirus. We'll go with that.
Okay, go with that.
Now, hear me out here. I got a fixer. How about the only people we let into Australia, we go back to 1788? Nothing but criminals. They're the only people now allowed in. Now, think about it. They've been isolating in a prison already.
Yes, okay.
For 2 weeks. So we're already good from that standpoint.
Yeah. They'll take the vax because they'll just take anything,
They'll take anything they can get into a needle.
Yes.
We can suit them up, so they're going to be safety first.
Correct.
And once again, we can clear them out, bring them in, increase population, make us feel morally superior.
Yes, that's true.
Just like
that'd be nice for a change, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Feel like you're on top.
Suggestions.
That's a very good, nice little suggestion.
Nice, Gary.
So, Mr. Morrison, the Prime Minister, fantastic little segue there. I don't know what's going on tonight. Mr. Morrison, the Prime Minister, he was on with Kyle and Jackie.
I got no sleep, man. I've been doing 3 jobs all week, mate. Yeah. I've been like I said, I'm a teacher, I'm an accountant, and I've been daycare as well this week. It's been a big week.
I can't say that I've been like a daycare or an accountant or a teacher or anything like that, but I did stay up a little bit too late and had 1 too many glasses of red wine. And so I had a few hours less sleep than I probably otherwise should have. And now we're doing this show. So
yeah, see, I was up at 3 a.m. to a screaming child with a 40-degree temperature because now my son's got a temperature.
Here's an idea for your next lesson plan. Why don't you teach her to stay in bed?
Health.
Yeah.
Cleanliness.
Teach her to stay asleep, Greeno. So Mr. Morrison was on with Kyle and Jackie O, which is like one of the biggest radio shows in the country. I don't
Number
mind.
one radio program, apparently.
Well, I don't mind.
Knocked off Ben Fordham.
Well, yeah, but everybody's knocking off Ben Fordham these days. He's hated by a lot of like the people who listen to talkback radio. You know that they really don't
What's
like.
the reason behind that?
Well, I
Not
guess
controversial enough.
I guess he's not Alan Jones. You know, so if Alan Jones was such a dominating figure in the Sydney radio landscape, like whoever took that job, it was a poison chalice. You know what I mean? Because to be the first guy after the guy who's like dominated the space for 30 years, it's like Dan Bongino in the States now, Greeno, has taken over from Rush Limbaugh. And I'm sure a lot of people like Dan Bongino doing that role, but there would be
They're doing comparisons.
There would be a section of the Rush Limbaugh crowd who are like, fuck this guy, this is shit, he's nowhere near as good as Rush. But it's like, yeah, but he was kind of huge for 30 years. Anybody who comes in nobody's going to be good enough for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I don't mind Kyle, actually. He's quite a funny, he doesn't give a fuck, Greeno. Like if you listen to the FM radio,
I don't listen to radio, sir.
No, I'm talking to other people. He legit doesn't give a fuck. And because Lady Boogs listens to it. So when I'm around and she puts it on, I do get a laugh out of it. I do think he's pretty fucking funny, Kyle Sandilands. So they had the Prime Minister on, and Mr. Morrison is, as he's being referred to here in this article, Greeno, he's like, quote, "Can I clear one thing up from ages ago?" Remember, this is very laid back.
He wasn't asked this.
Oh,
he wasn't asked a question about it.
He
decided to raise it himself.
Volunteered it, yeah. Just before they were about to go. So it's like, all right, thanks for joining us. All right, we'll catch you next time. See you later. Little plug. But then he kind of throws this in over the top, Greeno. He's like, "Can I clear up one thing from ages ago? Remember FM radio? Hey, crazy, zany. Hey, whoa, nice Gary."
Nice Gary.
The PM went on to address. The PM went on.
Nice Garys.
I'm bringing the nice Garys like way down from what it was last week, and
Compared
I'm
to last
trying
week,
very hard, Greeno. I'm doing my best, but it's going to be a process.
Appreciate the restraint.
Thank you so much. That's all I want is a little recognition for my sacrifice here. So the PM went on to address the long-standing rumor. This is how it's written: that he had soiled himself at an Engadine McDonald's, Greeno.
Nice Gary.
In Sydney South, after his beloved Cronulla Sharks lost the grand final in 1997. Quote, "It's the biggest urban myth ever. It is complete and utter rubbish. I found the whole thing incredibly amusing. I always joke about it. It is absolute and total rubbish." Now, okay, he's the Prime Minister, but with all due respect, Greeno, here's what I'm thinking, okay? Here's my this is a little boogie analysis for you here on the fly. The fact that he brought it up, this thing that happened in 1997, we're talking, 24 years ago now? Okay. The fact that he brought it up unprompted, like he wasn't being asked about, did you shit your pants? The fact he volunteered it.
Right now.
Yeah, but then see, when you do a move like that, to then turn around and say, "Oh, look, I thought it was, he quote, it was the biggest urban myth ever. It is complete rubbish." But then he says, "Look, I found I found it all very amusing. I always joke about it." That's a little bit dick. It's a little bit sus to me, Greeno. Do you think I'm on the money?
Me think he doth protest too much.
Lady doth protest too much. Absolutely.
Yeah, spot on.
So you reckon he shit himself, do you, in the McDonald's in 1997?
100% he shot himself. Don't get me wrong. But I think our Prime Minister is like a magician, right? It's all about sleight of hand. Because he went on this thing to kind of like, everyone's like, well, we're going to ask questions about, we've got all these cities in lockdown, states in lockdown, we're talking then, look here at my left hand, which is where the lockdowns are, and, people losing their livelihoods and mental health going down the fucking shitter. But over here in my right hand, story about me shooting myself from 1997, and suddenly, and us included, are now talking about his right hand, and no one's looking at the left hand anymore. It doesn't matter what's over there.
He's very talented, Green. He's a very talented kind of PR magician. He's
the David
Mr.
Copperfield of
Morrison.
Australian politics.
The master of illusion.
I don't think David Copperfield ever shut his pants, though.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later. Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVShow.com.
Yes! Welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Remember, if you want to get in touch with us, doing the breakfast drive time radio slot now, 6:30 a.m. every single Friday. If you want to get in touch with us, follow Greeno at the starting block, one word, drop the K at the end. Follow myself at BoogieBumper. Greeno, I've got a little bit of story.
I like stories about pinatas.
But before we get into the story, I feel like we need to, so I'm going to interrupt my own story.
I like stories about pinatas.
Okay. And I think that we need to discuss rules here, protocols.
Okay.
And because the rules around story time have never really been clearly defined. The only advice I gave Pessy before he was on, and shout out to Joy Pessy, by the way, for joining us last week. It was a fucking really fun show.
Good show.
Very good show. So the only advice I gave him before he came on was, look, you have to bring a story. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, something mundane. It's the fun of story time is like picking apart these stupid fucking stories that have no point. You know what I mean? And he's like, oh, okay. And I thought his story time was very good, Greeno. His contribution
Very good story.
to the show. So I need to ask a rule here because I don't think we've ever outlined this. Am I able to tell somebody else's story, Greeno?
I like stories about pinatas.
Because a story was told to me, and now I want to relay. So it's a story time by proxy, I guess. If that makes
that's
sense.
fine. I think as long as I think the protocol must be there has to be a disclaimer at start of said story time, just so mate of a mate. Now there has to be verifiable evidence that the mundane story actually did occur, though, because we don't want to get into like an RSL situation where it's like, well, a mate's cousin's brother told me this happened.
Yeah.
I don't want that story.
Yes.
Well, we need to be able to verify said story.
How about this as a regulation? Okay. If you're going to bring somebody else's story to the studio, to the show, it has to be immediate family only. It has to be your direct circle, right? So I'm not even going to allow cousin. I'm not going to allow aunt. I'm not even going to allow mum and dad. Okay. It has to be a story within your household. So this is a Lady Boogs story time.
I like stories about pinatas.
Well, now that you mention it's Lady Boogs, well, that's a no-brainer because Lady Boogs is part of the Block family.
That's right. The extended Block family, but the immediate BoogieBumper family which is what
Yeah,
I
exactly.
need in order to tell somebody else's story as part of story time.
Fair call. No,
Okay.
that's
So
definitely
I'm glad
inside
we
the
ironed that out.
protocols, inside procedures. Ratified and signed off, sir.
Ratified and signed off. So
Proceed with said story.
exactly. All right, let's go. So we've got one of those pod coffee machines. You know the pod machines, Greeno. Do you have a pod machine?
I love a pod. I gut pod. I go into and I buy like a block of pods, and my wife comes back. I come back, and my wife's like, "Why do you buy this many?" I'm like, "Do you realize how much coffee we drink? Like, I go through about 6 a day. of
6
pods
cups.
of
Are
coffee.
you a 6 cup a day, man? That's
Between us, the two of us.
that probably explains all the fast talking, though. You know, six coffees
this
a
is
day.
me. This is me without coffee. I only had one coffee today.
Ah, right. But now you're on the piss. That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm on the piss.
Yeah,
That normally
okay.
slows me down. This is slower pace than what I normally talk in everyday life.
Fantastic.
And coffee.
That's excellent. So we've got one of these pod coffee
Down the
machines.
show. Anyway, pod coffee.
We got this pod coffee machine, and it starts going on the blink, Greeno, a couple of days ago. Because I like to make Lady Boogs a coffee because I'm awake.
Sorry,
Are you there?
can I interrupt your story?
Please.
Yep.
I like stories about pinatas.
Because you then now, I want to. Can I get you to tell a Lady Boog story by proxy?
That's what I'm doing now already.
No. I'm going to get you to tell a story inside the story about a Lady Boog story.
I like
okay.
stories about pinatas.
Struggling to keep up, though.
How did you get said coffee machine in the first place?
No. This
Lady
is a
Boog
new.
run it on a radio show.
No. This is a new coffee machine. That was the old
it's
coffee
not that
machine.
one. Okay. My
Yes.
apologies.
No, you're
So she
right.
means what?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original coffee machine she won on some. It might have actually even been Kyle and Jackie.
Shandy, wasn't it?
It might have been Kyle Sandlands.
Not the Hamish and Andy.
Hey?
I could be wrong. Lady Boogs, let us know. Is
Yeah,
it
let us
Hamish
know.
and Andy or Kyle and Jackie O?
Hey, I'll talk to her after the show. I'll find out. We'll bring it back to we'll call that a story time, revision.
I like
next
stories about pinatas.
So back to the
Oh,
original
no.
I
story.
like stories about pinatas.
The secondary purchased pod machine.
That's right. To replace the first one, which was one on a radio show. Now,
radio show. Correct.
the new coffee pod machine. Oh, that's fucking nice, Gary. That's fantastic. The new coffee pod machine, Green. I like to make.
Nice Gary. That's an unliberal use of the fucking nice Gary. Right. That's a dick move because you fucked up. You're nice Gary.
So I was giving a nice Gary to the coffee machine, Green. The broken coffee machine. So I like to make Lady Boogs a coffee like in the morning because I'm still up after work as she's getting up for work. So I'm like, well, it takes me 5 minutes here. Good morning. Here's a coffee. Off you fucking go. Off you scoot. Slap on the bum. Go after the day.
Takes 5 minutes to make a coffee, and you need to get a faster machine, sir.
Oh, you know what I mean. Fucking hell. So you make a coffee however long it takes. And maybe, all right, it's 2 minutes, whatever. Who cares? So we're making the coffee. And this machine, the machine just starts doing this, Green. Instead of getting that nice sound of a coffee machine when the milk's coming out, like,
yeah.
I'm starting to get these noises, Greeno. I'm like, oh,
Worse
okay.
the constipated coffee machine. Sir.
Constipated coffee machine, Greeno. Exactly. You know why? Too much milk.
Oh, okay.
Too much milk.
Back up.
Yep.
Yeah, too much dairy.
Too much dairy in your diet.
Nothing worse than a lactose intolerant coffee machine.
know.
Well,
I probably need to feed some more protein through it, Greeno. Maybe that'll fix it. Yeah.
Fruit juice will fix it right up.
Absolutely. So the coffee machine starts going on blink. And I'm like, So I go in and I say, look, bad news. Coffee machine's not working. She says to me, well, how about this? Maybe I just need to descale it. Now, I don't really know what descaling is. I don't do descaling.
Yeah.
She takes care of the descaling. I'm like, well, it's in your very capable hands. I get a message last night that says the coffee machine is now just stuck in descaling mode and it won't do anything. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, look, we'll buy a new coffee machine. She's like, no, check this out. There's a phone number here for customer service. I'm going to call the customer service hotline, Greeno. Because of course, whenever you call a customer service hotline from a company, they're always going to help you. It's always going to.
Now I'm looking forward to the Bangladeshi advice on how to descale the coffee machine.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the person was Bangladeshi, but this person was nice, but in a rude way.
Hey, sure. Hey, Joe, how you go?
Yeah. Hello, American Joe. So this guy is telling her, like, hey, press this button, press this button, press this button. And she's probably, I've heard her say to this guy on the phone at least 25 times, I've already done that. Everything you're telling me, like, he's just reading the advice from the website. Yeah, that she's read already herself. Like, and she's trying to say, no, the reason I'm calling you is because everything I've tried to do has not worked. And you're now just telling me to do the exact same things over again. Anyway, fast forward to the end. We've gone through the whole process. He has to speak to the manager. So he hangs up and says, look, I'll call you back in an hour because this is a big situation here at the coffee machine place, wherever that is, the company. They're like, we need to get on top of this person's coffee machine problem. They call back in an hour and say, look, we've got a solution for you. You need to go to the post office and mail this fucking thing in to us. And we will now service the coffee machine. And before I can say to the lovely Lady Boogs, fuck it, who cares? Let's just buy a new coffee machine. She's already like, hey, where's the sticky tape? Because I'm going to wrap this fucking thing up.
Nice,
take it to the post office. Yeah.
Send it to the post office.
Yeah. So she took off down to the post office, but we couldn't. Apparently, like the packing situation, she had to rip shit out of other boxes to make sure it was all nice and secure in this other box. Gets down to the post office, Greeno, and I just want to give a little nice Gary to the people who work at the post office because it's obviously very essential work, Greeno. We must have the post office.
I was about to say, this sounds like this better be an essential warranty because this is breaching COVID protocols in lockdown.
That's right. It's an essential. I need my coffee machine fixed. Visit to the essential post office, Greeno.
Post office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you think during these times, these crazy times, we've got to give a tip of the hat to the essential workers because they're on the front lines, Greeno. You people at the post office. We've been standing in lines in the post office since long before COVID, so they're probably the only entity that was fully equipped to deal with COVID better than anybody else. Because you're always standing in that queue and like 1.5 meters apart in the post office, looking at shit like wacky pens.
Exactly. And they've been behind plexiglass for as long as I can remember.
That's
so
right.
they were already one step ahead.
That's right. And they've also, and I'm pleased to report, Greeno, via this by proxy story time, that they are still as enchanted with customer service as they always have been. Gary! Down at the post office. Yeah, they're still very passionate about customer service. So the sweet Lady Boogs gets up to the counter and she's like, look, I need to mail this coffee machine. It's urgent. It's an emergency. Let's fucking get this done. Turns out she needs like another little bit of tape on the box. And she says,
extra tape? There's a tape protocol.
That's right. There's a tape protocol. She must have this extra tape. But of course, who carries tape around with them? So she's like, well, look, I'm in the post office. Clearly you guys have tape. Why don't you hit me up with a little bit of tape? Now, at which point
help
the
brother out.
Exactly. Look, I'm here in the queue. Let's go. We're all in this together. Come on, it's COVID.
Yeah.
So at this point, the chick who's working at the post office does like basically a post office soup Nazi thing, a heel turn, Greeno, and says to her pretty much, if you want tape, $3.
Nice, Gary. How much tape are we talking here?
We're talking about like a 2-inch or 3-inch strip that just needed to go on the box. So she wanted to charge $3 for like one strip of tape in the post office. Yeah. And my wife's kind of like stuck between a rock and a hard place in a post office. She's like, okay, sweet, $3, whack the tape on the box. At which point at which point the woman working at the post office kind of flicks the tape like at her and it's like kind of motions for her to go away and tape the box herself. So not only is she charging her for the tape, but she's also now she's working for the post office now.
Yeah, okay, well, fair call. Now, I assume the only appropriate response to that is that Lady Boogs spat all over the package before she handed it back to the lady, correct?
That's the thing. What can you do? They've got you, because if you fuck around with the post office employee, your shit never gets to where it's going. They just chuck it in the bin. And they say, well, it's not our responsibility. That happened when it got dropped off. We're like, we don't know what's going on. We delivered it. Too fucking bad. So the post office.
I wouldn't have given the lady the satisfaction. I would have gone back home.
You would actually.
Nice. There's no way I'm paying that chick $3 for tape. I'm trying to go fuck herself.
Going home to get your own tape.
tape.
And then go to a different post office.
On petrol. I would have spent $12 on petrol,
Yep.
not have to pay $3 for tape for the principle of the matter.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that package is not getting to the coffee thing.
Yeah.
I guarantee you're going to give me a story time in 3 weeks' time where the coffee machine place is fine. Hey, yeah, we can't fix it. You're going to have to buy a new one. And all this has been for nothing. I guarantee it.
This will all be for nothing, this quest. I would say to the person at the post office, like if I was going to go home and get my own tape, I would say to them something like, wow, you really missed out on a big sale. I was going to buy some Tic Tacs. I was going to buy some envelopes. Okay. Yeah, you missed out. I was going to buy one of those folders with a binder in it, Greeno. Like that was going to be rung up on the list. So fuck you. I'd go to a different post office. So anyway, that's the story. $3 for tape at the post office. The only people who are really fit to deal with this COVID reality that we're all living in now, Greeno, the post office, the heroes on the front line, the tip of the spear, $3 for tape. And you got to tape the fucking box yourself.
I like stories about pinatas.
Little story there.
Important question for you, sir, because this is how petty I would be. I would have been in that situation. Let's say, once again, I'm not going to fucking pay for the tape, but let's say I did, and I was in Lady Boog's scenario. Please tell me she asked for a printed receipt. Because I would have been that fucking petty. I'm like, you want to make me go fucking tape it? You want this much tape? You want me to fucking tape it myself? I want a receipt, please.
Yeah. And then I'm going to tape it to your forehead, bitch.
But
then you can't because of the plexiglass.
No, I'm not. Yeah. And then I'm going to litter it. I'm going to fucking grab it, and then I'm going to scrunch it and drop it.
On the floor. Yeah.
On the floor.
In front of them, in the post office. That'll show them who's boss, Greeno.
Walk out like a mic drop.
Yes.
Exactly. There we go.
Fantastic stuff.
That's a good story.
It is
good story. But let's come back to that one in a couple of weeks because I guarantee that coffee machine is not coming back fixed.
We'll update the coffee machine.
We'll update the coffee machine. I know we've got the political woof bar that I sent you.
Yeah.
But I want to get something else. Now, yesterday, we'll do a quick story time.
Okay, a little story.
I like stories about pinatas.
I talked about my week. My week's been hectic. I had no time to fucking put anything together for the show. So the original rundown I sent you, I think had like 4 items max, if that.
Yeah.
Wasn't much effort put into the rundown for this week's show.
No.
And then out of the blue, I see in my DMs, Nadine, good friend of the show, also good friend of the Fergo and the Freak podcast, our brother in arms over there.
Correct.
And sent us a story just randomly. It was like, hey, Greeno, if you want to use it for next week's show, feel free. And it was a bit of hot toss. And it was like Nadine had sensed that I had fucking nothing in the rundown for this week.
The blockheads making all the difference. But again, I need to interrupt your story.
I like stories about pinatas.
And direct your attention to the Discord, Greeno, where Jim N-word is like repeatedly dropping things in there.
Cerebral, sir. Because as I'm putting this shit in the rundown, I've got this story, then Stefan sent us something, and I'm like, fucking excellent, I'm filling the rundown. And then I jumped in the Discord, and I'm like, if we do not do a fucking Jim N-word segment this week, he is going to be filthy because we're using other people's content when he's sending us content week after week after week. So we're going to do Nadine's, and then we're going to do Jim N-word's content, and
that'll be in honor of
in honor of Stefan, though, skipping his.
Oh, we're skipping Stefan's story. Okay, that's fantastic. He'll be very happy about that.
He loves the segment skipping that. So we've put. Don't get me wrong, Stefan. We put your story in the rundown only so we could skip it.
Because we know you're such a fan of skipping things on the show.
Stefan loves skipping that.
This one goes out to you, Steph.
Let's go to the Nadine story. Big thanks to Nadine sending in.
Well, I'd like to, but I
like stories about pinatas.
Interrupt your story and for a little bit of opening the kimono, Greeno, a little bit of pre-show. The link that you sent me does not work. It does not work. It's a dead link now. So I have no idea. So you're going to have to do it like on the fly and fill me in because I have no idea what this story is.
I can read this bad boy. Hit a hot toss for me, please, sir.
Okay.
Oh,
Man's penis rots after being wrapped in rubber bands for 3 days. Headline.
Fantastic.
Parts of an elderly man's rotting penis had to be burnt off after it was tied up with rubber bands for the better part of 3 days. Now, turns out this is a strangulation case. Suffering from dementia. He was hospitalized after. I really should have read this story before I fucking sent it through.
Well, I was thinking, Greeno, he must be an industrious post office employee because there's always the rubber bands at the post office. Oh my God, where am I going to keep all the rubber bands? I know, whack them on the old little cock there, and whenever you need one, it's like a tool belt, Greeno. It's nature's tool belt.
100%. Well, let's have a look here. So, the Chicago native's wife revealed that he wrapped his scrotum in rubber bands and refused to remove them for the better part of 3 days. So it was a choice.
Yeah, okay.
He chose to. Yeah, and see, once again, I really should have read this article before.
Well, once you go to all that effort to put rubber bands on your testicles, it's like, well, it's kind of. I don't want to put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off. Because it takes so much time. So I'm just going to put them on and leave them on for a good few days anyway. Yeah.
I guess my first question would be: at what point do you go, "Hey, here's a good idea. Let's wax them on there. Let's do a bit of self cow castration."
I was just cerebral. I was about to say, how long do you reckon until he figured out that this is also how they castrate bulls by putting rubber bands on testicles and just leaving them for a certain amount of time until the balls fall off, basically. Like, when do you reckon he figured that out? Do you reckon it was when they were burning away the rotting penis flesh in the hospital when he figured it out, Greeno? Or I
reckon that would have been about the time.
Might have been an indication.
With all that being said, though, that still segues beautiful into Jim N-word segment for this week.
Oh, okay.
Utter madness. Thousands defy lockdown to rock up and see a tiny cow. You got this story?
I just want to put it out there, right?
Yeah.
That, like, of all the stories Jim has sent to the Discord,
I'm just in the most recent one.
Baby cow story, Greeno.
Baby cow. Hey, it's the only one that links from a dude who fucking wrapped his balls with a rubber band and his dick rotted off. Okay. That's the only way I could link that story to anything in the Discord. Well, you pick a story then. Pick something that Jim has sent through 400 stories.
No, we're doing
in the last.
No, we're doing the tiny cow now. There it is. It's on the. It was utter madness in Bangladesh as thousands ignored a national COVID-19 lockdown to gawk at what could be the world's smallest cow.
Yes. Don't you find this fascinating?
Right.
Out of all things, like, it's not about seeing family. It's not about go and see friends. It's not about, attending a wedding or anything like that.
You've got to come and look at this. You've got to come and look at this little milk motherfucker immediately. You should see him. He's adorable. Come on, everybody. Follow me. Thousands of people running through the streets. We have to show them the little cow.
Trying to milk those little teats. It's fucking as a fun activity for the kiddies.
That's a kiddie's training cow, Greeno.
That's a kiddie's training cow. Have a look at all the people that are in the picture. They flocked to see the fucking tiny cow. They don't know how long this cow's going to last, Amo.
It's
23
amazing.
months old.
Look at this picture here, though, Greeno. So the whole town has flocked to come and see this baby cow. There's no like actual road there. It looks like they're kind of living in dirt road. The house across there looks like it's falling apart and dilapidated. Yet they've all got fucking iPhones out. They're all filming the baby cow, Greeno.
Good for they're all immunized, sir. The reception is immaculate.
Yeah.
It's the JJ Stoner Spring Collection, the perfect attire for any and every occasion you can think of this season. Like we were in the mosh pit full of sweat and everyone's slapping, hitting, and pulling on you. This shit won't rip! Lunch at your favorite cafe? Brunch with the girls? These stylish ensembles will give you the confidence you need to look and feel your best. Or if you're getting arrested for possession, it comes with a built-in police stick-proof body armor. Keep swinging, pigs! Call now, and your order will come with a complimentary ounce of that dankest bubblegum slurricane that the South has to offer. Don't forget the wall tapestry! If you need to cover your wall, it works!
Hello, my name is Frozen Asian, and I'd like to tell you about my show, The Sunday Night Shit Show, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with good conversations and laughing at funny and weird shit we find on the internet, we also have the Hat Cam, where I showcase my myriad of great-looking hats. Here is a testimonial from a great friend of mine who has enjoyed my hats lately.
I hope your next hat is a bullet. Jesus Christ! What are you, fucking Asian Dick Tracy? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to ruin my evening? Like I was just gonna listen to my buds do their show, and you just gotta do that. You do the show without the hat.
So you're not enjoying it?
No.
Dude, Asian
come
Dick
on,
Tracy.
secretly you enjoy it.
You look
No.
like you're going undercover in Argentina, but it's not working.
I hate you. I hate you. And I
Oh,
hate
come
your
on, you
stupid
secretly love it.
hat. No, I openly hate it.
And there you have it. So subscribe to the Sunday Night Shit Show at youtube.com/Sunday Night Shit Show. And hope to see you there on Sunday nights. Bye.
Welcome to The Starting Block. Follow on Twitter at The Starting Block. Drop the K at the end. Find the podcast on iTunes or on tavshow.com.
Yes, back on the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm really going to work out my timing better for this back announce because I feel like I'm talking over the music for the better part of a good 35 seconds there. I'm going to let it play a little bit longer before I start jumping back in. Could have said that off air, admittedly, but that wouldn't be how our show rolls.
Could have done post show there, Greeno. A little bit of post show.
Could have done a little bit of post show. Damo, it's not often we get to reflect something quickly that we talked about earlier in the show live. But I just saw this. I was scrolling through Twitter during the ad break there, and I saw a Blink 182 guitarist Tom DeLonge commenting on important Australian issues, where he's responded to an article about the Australian Prime Minister saying he didn't shit his pants in McDonald's in 1997 with a "what the fuck" gif.
Nice,
Topical news. This has now become international news when you've got
the huge rock stars, the Blink 182,
Yeah.
Greeno.
Blink 182 rock stars are sending "what the fuck" gifs to stories about the Australian Prime Minister saying he didn't shit his pants in 1997. It's good times. What a time to be alive. Could you be proud of our Prime Minister right now? He's making international news.
I couldn't if I tried, Greeno.
This is going to be hard to top. If I'm ScoMo, don't get me wrong, when is he going to call the election? Probably early next year.
Something
he
like
has
that.
to by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might call it earlier than that because he is beating the shit out of Anthony Albanese, so like in approved polls and stuff. Nobody really likes poor old Albo, do they?
No, he's pretty unlikable. No
Yeah,
matter how
no.
fucked up.
Yeah,
ScoMo is, but
I think we all need to be concerned about Scott Morrison potentially shitting himself in 1997. Here at the Australian Labor Party, we feel like if you're going to shit yourself, it's probably best to be done, either at home in lockdown or on the building site or perhaps working in the post office, Greeno. You might have to shit yourself there in the post office. Speaking of Australian celebrities,
give yourself a nice Gary. Give yourself a
Nice,
nice Gary.
Gary.
You like my elbow?
It was a good elbow. Before you get to that, though, do you reckon this is a platform that the Prime Minister can run on for his election campaign?
Our show, absolutely.
No. Focus on like the people that shit themselves kind of vote, the demographic.
Well, there's a lot of them out there, but the problem is the bulk of the people who shit themselves aren't old enough to vote yet. That's the problem.
Fair call.
I reckon
Fair
it's like
call.
80% ineligible to vote, and then unfortunately, by the time they can vote, most
Too
of them
old to remember.
Yeah, and if most of them have stopped shitting themselves as well. I will say most,
fair
like with an
call.
asterisk, because of course there's going to be some serial shitters out there who just never let it go.
Questionable.
Greeno.
Spot on.
Yeah, but so Australian celebrities, we've got Blink 182. Hello there. Did you shit yourself at Macca's? Eating cheeseburgers on the side. You've
Keep
got a
keep
shit
going.
stain in your underwear. Stop this pain tonight.
Very good. All right, next segment. What do we got?
Stop. What are we doing? So
We're talking
speaking
about
of
this guy-
speaking of celebrities,
Can we do
Greeno.
ScoMo's Woof Woof Waz?
Oh, you want to
I
do
can
the
just
woof
leave
woof?
it, right.
Yeah, all right. We'll
No,
do
we'll do
woof
this. Because we're talking about ScoMo. Let's get to ScoMo. If you think
Okay.
that the Prime Minister's had a bad week, and we talked about this for background to people who watch our show or they've never seen our show before, we refer to the woof woof bars, the puppies and the babies, either way we like to refer to it, is basically a go-to standard for any Australian sports star that's fucked up somewhere. And is trying to readjust his image. So, you know, rape allegations, get a photo with a puppy in the paper the next week. You're good to go. You know, you bludgeon someone to death. Hey, here's me holding a little bit of baby. Oh, isn't he cute? He's a good dad.
I can't remember, to be fair, the last time a rugby league player or anyone else for that matter was accused of bludgeoning somebody to death, though.
Just examples here. I didn't say specifics. I said examples.
How about this one, Greeno? Being drunk in a taxi. Does that qualify? Drunk in a taxi, and you know, word gets out, and you told the taxi driver to go fuck himself or something like that, and it gets out in the paper the next day.
Sexting scandal, perhaps.
Sexting scandals, yes. All those kinds of nothing that's too serious. That's right. But see, the sports
get yourself a 2-hour and a camera, you're good to go.
Exactly. So the sports journos in this country, though, they're notorious because they don't want to lose access to athletes and teams and stuff. So if they have particular access with a particular player or a particular club, Phil Rothfield, then they tend to write, you know, fluffy pieces to kind of, you know, in a very ScoMo way, look over here, don't look over here. And so the next day, that's right. And it becomes very predictable. Like the next day in the paper, there'll be a picture of them like hugging a baby, you know, holding a baby. It might not even be their baby, but it's like, you know, he's such a good guy. I mean, look at this. Look at his beautiful dog. I mean, it's just amazing. It's so wonderful.
You can't hate on a rapist that's holding a puppy or a baby. That's the general rule of the media.
That's the general rule.
I don't make the rules.
No.
I don't make the rules. I don't write them. We just abide by them.
But rules they are. So here we have a political woof woof Greeno. Scott Morrison's dog, Buddy. I feel like we're really being harsh on Scott Morrison tonight for some reason. We've never really spoken about Scott Morrison this much before.
Fucking facts.
Scott Morrison's dog.
The stupidity. We got fucking half the country in lockdown, and this is what the Prime Minister's going and addressing the media with. Shitting himself and fucking photos with puppies, man.
Well, this is modern politics. I reckon he's just keeping up with the trend, though. Like this, because this is modern politics now, because there's too many idiots out there, Greeno. So you've got, how do you speak to the idiots?
I want a fucking solution.
but you have to go to where the idiots are, if you know what I mean. So that's why this started like with fucking Kevin Rudd doing FM radio. Remember before that, all of them only did like Sirius AM radio. He started doing FM. Fucking Barack Obama at ESPN calling baseball games and shit. So it's just been a gradual tracking down to where we are now, which is, you know, hey, I didn't shit my pants back in 1997 in an Engadine McDonald's. And here's a picture of my little buddy here. Look at that, Greeno. Look at that.
Nice, Gary.
There he is, the political woof woof wah, Scotty Mac with Scotty Mo with little buddy there. It's a very pattable dog, though. I think you'd agree. Like the dog is very pattable.
ScoMo or the dog?
Both of them. I like to scratch ScoMo behind the ears. You should see his little see his little leg shake with excitement when I scratch.
Can you go back to that photo?
Yeah.
Which out of that photo, which one do you reckon has shat themselves more?
Nice,
Left or right?
Gary.
Left or right? Do you think ScoMo's house trained, Greeno?
That's right. I reckon ScoMo's wearing an adult diaper right there. I guarantee it. Safety first.
There's only one way to find out. You got to get up really close to him, and when he sits down, it has to sound like a hovercraft being switched off.
Yeah, he does. He doesn't look like he's in a full sit there. That looks more like a squat.
That's right.
ScoMo's done poos.
Yeah,
ScoMo's done poos.
There you have it. And a special mention has to be made of the headline here, Greeno, as well. Scott Morrison's dog Buddy reveals life in lockdown with the PM has been, quote, rough.
Rough. Well,
Nice, Gary.
There's a segment on Michaela's show, Mad as Hell, where they find these headlines and get on a character that is the headline writer.
Yeah.
And he kind of explains why the headline's funny. It's a great sequence.
Oh,
Definitely
fuck.
worth checking out.
There you go.
Nice,
Political waffle
What are
bar.
we up to? Waffle bar.
Liz
what are we
Cambridge,
up to?
Greeno. Liz Cambridge.
Cambridge, that's right.
What
So
do you
we
think?
talked about Liz a couple of weeks back.
Mhm.
I forget what the story was.
It was Andrew
But,
Bogut related.
It was Andrew Bogut related. She was talking about inclusion or some shit, and then he kind of fired back and made a talk about. Oh no, because I think she put a lot of smiley faces that were all kind of white people, and he's like, "Well, you need to be more inclusive with your emojis." Blah blah blah. Very very funny fucking segment. Go back, check it out in the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Now, the news
Nice, Gary.
the news earlier today though was turns out Liz Cambridge, who would have thought, bit of a fuckwit. You know, don't mean to call it out, but turns out not exactly the best teammate. So this was the story earlier today. The Opals could be without superstar Liz Cambridge at the Tokyo Olympics following multiple incidents involving the four-time WNBA All-Star, which have upset teammates and officials. AOC investigating could be stood down. So they're in lockdown in Vegas, I think, at the moment.
Yep. What a shitty place to be locked down. Like, because the whole thing with Vegas is like, yeah, but the whole point, you can get room service anywhere. The whole point of going to Vegas is like going to the casinos and going to the shows and going to the bars and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Imagine looking out at all of those flashing lights and you're stuck in the hotel room with your hand on the glass and a single tear coming down your cheek.
She's found a way to get into altercation, multiple incidents with teammates at the Las Vegas camp, right?
Was it her
This was earlier
teammates?
today.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It was part of the Australian team camp because they're about to fly into Tokyo, so they've been quarantining there.
Right.
So she's decided to fucking be an absolute lunatic.
Okay.
And then what's the go-to move, Damo, when you're about to get sacked for inappropriate behavior from a sporting team?
I would say, well, one of them would be I'm being victimized because I'm a woman or something like that. You know, they're only
Option
getting rid of
one,
me because I'm black, something like that. You know, something.
Okay, so let's imagine it's a white footy player.
And all I'm saying by that is it happens a lot now. So
It does.
That's what I expect.
I'm thinking after I saw that article, I was counting down the seconds till I heard the phrase mental health issues.
Oh, mental health
Nice,
issues.
Gary.
That tends to be the one where like, it's a tricky one because it's a way for the teams.
Because you can't criticize anyone.
That's right.
If they, it's like, well, hang on a sec.
It has become like a trend where the teams will say, like, after an incident, oh look, he's taking some time off for mental health issues, and basically like the whole sporting journalist landscape basically, because what can you say? There's nothing you can say. They all say, oh, okay, better back off then, because we don't want to affect mental health issues. So I am skeptical now because I'm so fucking cynical.
Considering she was about to get sacked and now she resigns in inverted commas from the Australian team and cites mental health issues as the reason for resignation, opposed to the fact that she actually got sacked by the team for fucking pissing off all her teammates and being involved in multiple sackable incidents.
Okay. Well, so here's a little bit from this story, right? Cambridge said she was heartbroken and cited mental health issues as it emerged. She was under investigation for a series of incidents inside the team bubble, Greeno. It's understood Cambridge was involved in a physical altercation during a private scrimmage against Nigeria. So we're fighting with other teams now as well.
Yeah.
Okay. This week, which resulted in heated verbal abuse of her opponent. Heated verbal abuse, Greeno.
Nice, Gary.
Love it. Bit of Liz Cambridge. So Liz is like the best player on the team by far. You know, she's like the number one player. So she's decided to go home now. Now, here's the thing. Did you know that Macquarie Radio picked up the Wide World of Sports license? Did you know that?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah,
No.
so basically now I think it's like from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock or something like that. I don't listen to it. But they do like a Wide World of Sports radio show every night on 2GB now at I think 6 o'clock. It's very rugby league, you know, heavy though.
Yeah, of course it is. Footy, Aussie, blokey, buffy, larrigan.
Shit in the carby, mate. So
that's right. Yeah.
But
that's more Scotty Cam though.
That's very Scotty Cam. So I had it on the radio for the 30 seconds it took me to get home from the shop, kind of thing. And in that time though, the host. So I don't know how much of this is real or not, but the host was saying basically like that the team went up to the Olympic Committee or the coaching panel or whatever, and said, "We're sick of her shit. If she doesn't go, we all go. We're all going home.
Yep.
If you don't get rid of us."
Spot on.
Which, if true, would be huge. Because now they're saying like she might not ever play for Australia ever again because she's walked out on the team like before the Olympics started. So, you know, once you do something like that, they don't want you back. No.
You know how bad she must be? They've only got 11 people in the squad with Liz Cambridge. So they're going to be only playing with 10 players for the tournament. They wanted her gone. I think Chris Anstey was on a program earlier today and was like, yeah, look, great player, terrible teammate. Like you just don't want to play with her. And that's kind of what's happening.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Like, so they've gone from a medal chance to, you know, they'll probably get smashed every game now because that's how important
not just medal
she was.
chance. Like we were looking good for gold. Like we're always up there with the US and always a really good chance because we're great at women's basketball. Speaking of which, Jim Enward sent through during the week. Nigeria beat the US. And Australia backed that up by beating them in a trial as well.
2 trials, back to back, we beat them.
Back to back. Australia's won 2 straight games against the US in trial matches. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's not like it's not a dog shit US team either. Like it's not it's obviously
Kevin
not
Durant's playing that team.
Well, but it's obviously not like the best team they could possibly have. But at the same time, there's a lot of good players in that fucking team.
Good. Yeah. 100%. But yeah, Nigeria beat them. That's unbelievable. I think they beat Nigeria by like 50 points last time they played. So interesting to see how it all kind of pans out in the Olympics. But
there you go.
We talked about it earlier. Like,
do we give a nice Gary to Liz for good thanks for the career or something like that? Or
no, we don't. Because she's cited mental health issues, and there are people out there that actually do have issues, and they don't act like cunts. So, why does she get a pass?
Because she's really good at basketball, Greeno.
She's really good,
and that's important.
I tell you, 100%. Damo, we've got the question we've got inundated with the last couple of weeks is where's Troy?
Where's Troy?
Our Unity Day reporter. So I had to reach out
which is only just ahead of the next most asked question, followed by who's Troy Green?
Who's Troy? That's right. So Troy's our Unity Day reporter. He's been doing some great work on the show for the better part of 2 years. He's the only person involved with the show who's won an award for radio.
That's right.
Nice, Gary.
And he does the least amount of on-air stuff out of everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. He sends through a great deal of content and we just ignore it, week in, week out.
Fuck him. Who does he think he is with his fancy award?
With his awards and whatnot.
He wears it around he wears the award around his neck, and it's not even small. It's like the size of a Grammy. So he's always got to wear like a shirt that's 4 sizes bigger than he needs in order to tuck the award, the radio award, in under the shirt, Greeno.
Bling, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So reached out to Troy, made sure, got to check in, make sure he's doing all right. And he's like, look, boys, I'm flying. I'm out here getting celebrity endorsements for himself now.
Nice.
Now, remember, Troy was out there getting celebrity stuff for us with Lip Nicky last year.
Yep.
So he's like, look, I've taken care of the boys already, got Lip Nicky on board for the block.
Momentum is building.
Now I'm going to take care of myself over there at GGM Enterprises. And as proof of evidence, I believe we've got a bit of a clip. Troy's celebrity endorsements.
Oh, see, where's the fucking clip, man?
He didn't email it to you.
Oh, wait. Yeah, he probably did. Don't mind me.
Can we get some Jeopardy music?
Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, okay. All right. Let's have a look. We're good.
Brian Altman in the small blind. If you're a fan of Brian Altman, show your support for Brian by using the special Brian Altman emote on Twitch. It's Alt for Altman, Alt F4.
What?
Is this the right clip?
Poker coverage has fucking changed. Greeno asked me to send this video of our celebrity endorsement for some context. Joe is a poker commentator in the US and Europe, a genuinely funny dude. He was on TV back in the day. So this is Joe we're seeing here. Okay.
This is Joe. Maybe it'll all cut together in the back end.
But hasn't fucking poker coverage changed, man? Like, subscribe to Twitch? What the fuck?
It used to be very dry. It used to be very great. It was more just,
my favorite poker, like, analyst and commentator. He does his own kind of poker strategy podcast as well. He's really good. As a guy, just a little fucking plug, impromptu plug off the bat. He's a guy named Bart Hanson. He's probably the
Okay.
best one for like post-hand analysis and shit like that.
Nice.
So Joe, the poker commentator, let's get back to Troy here. Let's see what he's got. Joe Stapleton. Okay.
So, Joe, ready to start our walking tour of Monaco?
No, that's not baller at all. I asked for a Ferrari. How are we supposed to pick up girls on foot?
You do realize a Ferrari has 2
I
seats.
swear we've
There is
just
nowhere
picked
for the
some
girls to
random
sit.
clips here. This
Yeah.
is not the
Yes,
clip.
This is not the clip.
No, this is not the clip.
Okay. Well, then I need the clip.
Hey, I need to go to Stefan's favorite segment.
Okay.
Skipping that.
Skipping that. We'll come back to it next
Skipping
week,
that.
then, eh?
It's his stat man.
Okay. Just before we get to Statman.
I like stories about pinatas.
Just a little idea because, I know you're very busy and you put so much time into the rundown already, Greeno, But just maybe from now on, like with each thing that requires a link, just put the link in the body of just copy and paste it and put it in the WordPress document that you send me.
Here's a kimono pool for you.
Because I did ask. Hang on. I'm not done. I did ask directly before the show in text, hey, is there any other links and references and shit that I need? And you're like, no, that's pretty much it. So
that's it.
Yeah.
Because I send you the link on Saturday.
Yeah, but you
and
don't.
You're like, hey man, it's not working.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get Troy to email you. And Troy messaged you today to say, what's your email? And I assume the link was sent.
Yeah.
I made assumptions. That's my mistake. I should have made assumptions.
But if you don't put in the rundown that it's a link that I need to get, I have to kind of basically deduce it. I read what you write. I'm like, is he telling me that there's a link there? And then I have to go through the fucking DMs and go back through them and looking for it. I'm like, is this what he's referring to? So is this what he means?
Let's back up. Let's hit a sorry book.
Good. Oh, nice.
And siren seems to be the hardest word.
It's about time.
All right, so this one's a sorry book to Damo, because here's the thing: in my very rushful post, already doing 3 jobs this week.
Yes,
and
Mr.
Greeno,
sir, I don't want to interrupt the lesson plan.
at the last minute. So I'm looking at my rundown. I'm like, fuck off, man. I told you there's a DM video and you got to play Troy's ad. And then I'm looking at the rundown and it says, where's Troy? Then I'm going into the inbox where I write kind of what I need to do. And it says, where's Troy? And I forgot to add the rest of it, which says, play Troy's ad, DM to Damo on the 10th of the 7th. So my bad. I forgot to put that in. That's my
all right.
fuck up.
But how
My
about this
apologies.
then? Instead, just when you see it, copy and paste the link. And if you put that in the rundown, then there'll be
I
no
normally
problem.
do. I rushed the rundown last night. My apologies.
You put so much time into it. That's why I brought it up.
I put a whole 6 minutes into it.
we spent more time talking about the rundown than you actually put into the rundown.
Doing the fucking
Every week.
rundown. Oh my God.
Every fucking week.
It happens. This is when MLB stat man. Fucking,
I'm a scat man.
Then we'll get the fuck out of here.
we got this little women stat man when you go after that. All-Star weekend, Damo. Well, not weekend, All-Star week, middle of the week. Off-putting, because it means there's no baseball for a couple of days as well. I don't like it.
Okay.
And 2 days, no baseball to listen to. Piss me off.
Gee, the pressures in lockdown are just relentless, aren't they? The disappointments. No birthday parties, no funerals, no weddings, no movies, no restaurants, and 2 days without ball.
Without ball, fair call. I need to send out happy birthday messages to both my dad and my son. Birthdays. Both
yeah,
this week.
happy birthday, Zachy. Fucking oath.
Yeah.
Fucking nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
So a big week, not being able to celebrate birthdays with family. Good times. Welcome to lockdown.
Very good.
Nonetheless, how did I spend his birthday? Drinking Budweiser and watching the All-Star game, sir.
Yeah.
Nice, Gary.
At which point, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. became the youngest ever MVP of an All-Star game at 22 years of age.
Shit, that's good.
Yeah, very good.
Did Shohei not play or?
Mate, don't get me started because
Come on, what's going on?
this segment. This segment's nothing but Shohei, right? Because he
Shohei
just
love.
breaks records every week.
Exactly.
He does. He's the first player ever to pitch and lead off in an All-Star game in history. Shohei Ohtani started the All-Star game and also led off, and he participated in the home run derby and went into full overtime and got knocked out in the first round, even though he hit 35 homers in the space of 7 minutes.
Jeez.
But here's a funny stat man for you, Damo.
Okay.
I'm a scat man.
In this All-Star game, for the winning team, a Japanese player started the match pitching.
Yep.
An Australian player finished the match and saved it, and a Dominican Republic player was the MVP.
There you go. Look at that. So the Japanese, the Dominican Republicans, and the Australians, we're taking your gerbs. We're going over there and taking their gerbs.
Can we give a nice Gary to Liam Hendricks, who's the Australian player who made the save in the All-Star game.
Right.
First Australian player ever to make 2 All-Star games back-to-back years.
Oh, nice.
And secondly, the reason he gets a nice Gary is because he was mic'd up for when he was out there pitching.
Yes.
And he didn't realize, he knew he was mic'd up, but he couldn't hear the commentators.
Right.
So he assumed the mic wasn't working and just fucking cussed his ass off through the entire inning on a live mic on Fox Sports, and they forgot to beep
shit
it.
like that. Like frustrated fucks and stuff.
Like,
or?
100%. He's like, fucking finish, come on. Like just yelling abuse in an exhibition match. It was just a beautiful moment.
Fantastic. Aussie
cunt,
cunt, mate. There you go.
100%. He's an absolute beast. Another quick stat, man, before we wrap up, Damo.
I'm a scat man.
Fucking Ash Barty, well done.
Yes.
First Wimbledon champion in the better part of 40 years on the women's side of things. Unbelievable performance.
Since
it was
was Gulagon Corley, did she win it, or was it Margaret?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it was Gulagon. Yeah, it was Gulagon Corley who'd last won it. So
Nice, Gary.
The audience in the Australian viewership, we talk about fans love their Thursday night footy. Fans love their 2 a.m. Australian Wimbledon champions because the viewership peaked at 2 a.m. on Channel 9 when Ash Barty was in the third set.
There are some things that you'll kind of like dislike about Australian culture and Australianisms, but one of the things that I think everyone likes is for shit like that, for some reason, a sporting event is something that everybody will collectively like. They'll be arguing and hating each other about politics or whatever for weeks and weeks and weeks. But then, Ash Barty wins Wimbledon, and the same people are now arm in arm going, "Yes, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!" There's always this way of making everything better for a short period of time after one of these great sporting events. So fucking tip of the hat, nice Gary.
Nice, Gary.
100%. But here's the fucking unbelievable stat, man.
Yeah.
On the same day, the Geelong Cats won a match 70-44.
Yep.
That's only ever happened 3 times before in history. On the exact same years, an Australian has won Wimbledon. 1952 and 1958. How's that for a stat?
Jesus Christ.
I'm a scat man.
Whoever found that stat is a fucking he's Rain Man. Because that is freakish.
Or like some dangerous super spy or something, who just happened to pick it up out of the newspaper. Fuck it.
Could be a bit of both. That's the show for this week, sir. Can't decide whether it's a good one or not. Had its moments.
Well, it was on. It was on.
We did it.
It's good enough, isn't it?
It's been a rough week. I'll actually send you links next time.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'll give you a nice Gary when you do. Follow Greeno at the starting block. One more, drop the K at the end. Follow myself at BoogieBumper. That's it. We're fucking out of here. See you next time.
Bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the truth?
Hey Patriots, this is your favorite Southerner, Doc Martin. Just wanted to remind you to put on your calendars to join me and your favorite ne'er-do-well Yankee, Phil D'Angelo, on Saturday nights, beginning with Promises Kept at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, followed by The Speakeasy with all of your favorite Patriots. You never know what we might cuss and discuss.
That's right, Doc Martin. This is everybody's favorite Yankee, Phil D'Angelo speaking. And on Saturday night, we could have Kimmy, Y Censored, affectionately known as Electrolux, the original Grandma, UK Neil, Rusty and his famous sound test show, Coffee Talk with Sandra, Earth Citizen, Stefan, the infamous Grandma Sears, Mac Daddy may even make a show up, or virtually anyone else in the world for some irrelevant fun.
Yankee, you mean some irreverent fun. So be sure to join us on Twitch, Periscope, D-Live, or YouTube.
That's right, Doc. Follow us at Winning TV on all of those channels.
So be sure and put it on your calendar. We'll be looking for you. We'll leave the porch light on.
I still think it's irrelevant fun.
But why are you farming for coins when you'll have a heavy bag?
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.